on
So
that
that's
stuff.
all I'm
I've
doing.
corrected-
That's all I've been doing all day is correcting
that's
MF
not- oh my
Endless
God.
on his fucking
Oh my God.
rhetoric that talks about like, oh yeah, if you have mixed
We haven't
children,
even gotten-
he said that if you have mixed children, you are contributing to white supremacy.
I don't remember. I mean, can you find a clip where he said that? Because
So, like,
I remember when he
Being
said
Princess,
that. If I
Being
remember
Princess
correctly,
literally said
he
that a white woman
said-
could never be a good mother to a mixed child because they would never ever know the fucking struggles. They wouldn't know how to do
Okay,
their hair. They
I
wouldn't know how.
didn't-
That's
okay, if
literally
she
what
said
they're
that-
saying.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
How's it going?
going pretty good. Just playing some Factorio, just memeing it up, looking at some news, as we do.
All right. It's pretty good. My panel just ended. I'm here to talk black shit now.
All right. Well,
So-
where do you want to start?
Well, I think what's going on here is that like I don't think people understood where like Endless Cemetery was coming from in like from the jump. Not even just in the discussion, but like from the jump, from like the start of the whole discussion, right? Like I don't think for a second that someone like that someone like Endless is a race purist. I think what he was talking about, and I think this is where like Shark really messed up too, was that he wasn't being charitable to, or not even being charitable. He was using white supremacist rhetoric. Or at least that's my problem. At least Shark was using like notorious white supremacist rhetoric in his tweet, and it just really seemed like there was no reason to like and no reason to like do that at all, really.
Okay, so I would also, before this conversation, I would have said that, yeah, it's probably a stretch to say that Endless is some kind of like race purist or something like that. And he might not be a race purist. Maybe that's not the right word to call him. But there is something weird there. There's something weird there with the way that he was talking about these things. So I would say
Well, I
that
mean, you straight up call him a race purist, though. Like, if you
today
want to
I
walk
did.
back on it now,
Today I did, yes. I think, but
flat out called
hold
him a
on.
race purist. And not only did you do that, but you called me an ethno nationalist.
Yeah, what was
which
the exact
also really
context
weird.
of that?
The exact context of that was I said that you don't understand how complex this issue is.
Okay, but I
understand.
Okay.
I said that I can see both sides of it.
Okay, I can't see
And
both
you
sides of
said-
this one. Okay, when we say both sides, when it comes to like anti-miscegenation shit, like I can't see both sides of this.
But the thing is, it wasn't about anti-miscegenation.
It
became
literally
that.
was.
But the start of it was that Shark was using in his original tweet, he was using white supremacist rhetoric in his original tweet. Do you remember the original tweet?
Yes, we looked at it multiple times today.
Okay, so you know how he was saying. So let's walk this back, right? Like let's go back for a hot sec to the beginning. The beginning was showing this black person and how I guess the melanin like dropped out of their bloodline like as shit kept going, right? Now let me first start off by saying I don't even necessarily 100% agree with like the original tweet. Like I don't, because like I said, and you can look on my Twitter and you can see her, like my wife to be is a white woman. Like I am very much like for interracial marriages, dating, all that shit. Like I'm the last one who's going to speak out against that stuff, right?
Okay.
But the thing about what was being said was that the other person did somebody said like, yeah, 2 generations and the melanin's gone, and another person said I cannot see my bloodline getting this way, and like I can understand if there you said that's a little sketch, that's a little sus, and then Shark comes in with the white supremacist talking points of these people come from these black people in particular come from broken homes, these black people did not have happy families or what have you, and it's like, why is it that you saw those 2 tweets and that's the first thing you jump to is attacking these people and saying that they come from
They're talking
broken homes
sure.
and what have you?
Okay, so
like that was the biggest problem.
So
and I don't think Shark understood that was the problem.
No, I think Shark is like totally hyper aware that that was a spicy way to like word that tweet. I don't think that that's a surprise to anybody.
Did they? Because I don't think they've yet to
I
like come out and talk about that.
uh, because he doesn't care if he's spicy sometimes, just like I don't care if I'm spicy sometimes.
But you
But hold
should
on, hold
though.
on.
You
No,
really
I
should care
no.
if you're
I
spicy.
think it's okay if it's if you're spicy. Okay, there's a difference
Right,
between
I
being
do too,
spicy
but
and
like there's
hateful.
certain things you
Hold
don't
on. I
need to
let you talk
be.
for. I didn't. I tried not to interrupt you. Right?
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't be. There's not like there's this really weird thing, especially among Twitch politics people, where like we think that it's okay to just or that it's
No.
it's just edgy when we act like children and stupid reactionary kids, and it's like, I mean, no, not really. Like, especially if we're gonna be adults on the platform, like, let's maybe think before we just be edgy at shit that like literally did not need to be edgy towards and what have you. Like, am I asking too much by saying that? Because I don't think I am.
Yes, you are asking too much. But like, I actually want
That's
to like
weird.
just get my point out. All right.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
first off, there's a difference between being spicy and edgy and being like flat out racist or bigoted or something like that. My line would be at like the actual like racist or bigoted shit. There's a difference between being spicy, edgy, and bigoted. Okay. So that's like
So
first
like,
off.
wait.
Hold on. No,
So
no,
like,
no, no,
wait.
no,
How
no,
am
no, no,
I?
no. You said like a whole bunch. I haven't said anything this entire conversation yet. Okay. So,
Well, because it's
no,
black folks' business. Like
we
largely
haven't
black
even
folks.
gotten
Yeah, I
to the
said that
black
it's
folks.
largely
No, we haven't even said the black folks
okay.
business.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Continue.
So the original tweet was talking about bloodlines, talking about like, oh man, I would hate to see in 2 generations all of the melanin leave my family. Now I can understand, and I've said this multiple times today, right? If there's like a thing where like there are successful black men or just like successful black people in general will get really rich, really famous, and then they'll kind of like only hang out with white people and they'll marry white women or marry white men and they'll have mixed kids and like they'll like completely never look back at the community that they came from, right? And so like if that was all that the point or all the point of the tweet was trying to make, then like sure, yeah, like I would have zero problem with it. That is like I can understand why that would feel shitty, but that's not what they were saying. They didn't talk about the economic standings. They didn't talk about any of that shit. They talked about the bloodlines. Look at the bloodlines. Look at all the
Right.
melanin
Right.
left,
Yeah.
right?
And I
And
agree. I
hold
agree
on.
that's kind of shitty.
No, it's not
But
just kind
like,
of shitty. It's like
wait, hold on.
verbatim the same thing that I've heard Nazis who I've argued against, who have like also been against, race mixing. That's the same shit that they would
Okay.
say. All right. And on top of that, Endless today, right before, or I say Endless today, right before that conversation with Shark, he actually said, like, listen, all I care about is that there are more dark-skinned black people like me in the future. Right? That's all I fucking care about. Now, he's not
What's
talking
wrong with
about
that?
what's wrong with that.
Yeah. What's
Like,
wrong with
why does
that?
it
What's
matter?
wrong with saying? What's wrong with that? Well, because like I mean,
Because
and
it's
this is where it
because
comes.
the
And
reason.
this is
Okay,
where
so because hold on,
and this is where the
I'm just gonna
no
say
no no no
one
no
last
no.
thing. It's literally the last thing
Okay,
I'm gonna
fine.
say.
One last
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that line is literally verbatim. If you want to talk about white supremacist like talking points, fatherless behavior is like 1 or 2 steps removed from white supremacy. You want to talk about like I want my children to look like me, right? Like you want to look at fucking Nick Fuentes or literally any other groiper that I've ever talked to, talking about like I want to make sure that my kids have the ability to have blue eyes and blonde hair in the future, and not like the muddy brown eyes and shit like that from race mixing. Like yeah, you want to talk about white supremacist talking points? MF Inley was hitting all of them today.
So, do you know? Do you know the difference between being white and being black? Do you know the difference?
Uh, hit me with it.
Okay. So when people talk about this is the same thing as like, this is literally the exact same concept as like people talking about black power versus white power, right? And I know you know that like there's a difference between when people say black power versus white power, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and like I said, I am not against race mixing, obviously. Like obviously.
Mm.
Um so the difference there is that like when we talk about white people, in many cases we're not talking about a culture. We are talking about we are talking about essentially like conquest, because that's what it means when someone is like proud of their whiteness. Essentially is like, yeah, they're proud of like conquest, because that's what the whole point of like being white is. Meanwhile, when we talk about black people and blackness, there is like a whole nother culture, if not subculture, and even probably even subcultures within that blackness could lead to. And when we also talk about like blackness, we're talking about what Endless was talking about was how similar to native like indigenous folk, right? how indigenous folk have been erased, right? Or like, do you think would you dare talk to a indigenous person, and would you dare tell them that they are wrong for wanting their people to exist in the future as well
Um,
after they've
so
been?
so first off, when we talk about white people wanting to see their children look like them and have like the blue eyes and the
Okay,
white.
maybe I did this the wrong way. I think I really did this wrong way.
Okay, sure.
There's so with white people, right? With white people, right? There is not a systemic. There was never a systemic the systemic things essentially that were imposed and forced upon white people that was enforced upon them solely for the purpose of exterminating them, solely for the purpose of belittling them, solely for the purpose of getting rid of white people. Meanwhile, with black people, there's still shit going on today where the point is to essentially get rid of all these black MFs. Like that's the point. You still got systemic racism, you still got all kind of shit going on today that is basically get rid of black people or get rid of non-white people. So yeah, I do think it is completely okay for a black person to like Endless and like myself or other people. Like, yeah, I would like it if black people existed in the future
Okay, so
because
yep. Okay,
there are efforts to get rid of us, actual efforts that are like documented, like or that have been documented to get rid of black people today, even like with police brutality, all this kind of shit. Like there's actual efforts and shit that goes on, and that the black community is plagued with to this day, where the sole purpose is to get rid of them. So a black person saying, you know what, I would like to procreate with another black person because I would like to produce black children and I would like to prolong black people in the world and ensure that there are still black people in the future, because we all have to know that basically leagues in the future everyone's going to be fucking tan, everyone's going to be the color, everyone's going to be like a light brownish sort of color, because that's just what's going to happen as races continue to mix and continue to mingle and what have you. Race predominantly is skin deep, but I still cannot fault a black person for stating, because of the shit that black people have been through, I cannot logically or empathetically, I guess, fault a black person for saying, I would like for black people to exist in the future.
okay. So a couple of
And I'm
things that you
saying
said.
this is a person who's gonna have mixed kids.
Okay, so there's so much that you just said that was just like so off the walls bonkers. Okay, so like you said,
Why? What?
okay,
What part of?
well, yeah, if you let me talk, I'll explain it to you. Okay, like I don't think that you're coming at this in a bad way. Okay, I think that you're trying to be extremely charitable to Endless. Okay, so you said like like they're trying to like protect like black culture and make sure that there are black people in the future. That's not at all what Endless was saying. He didn't talk about black culture at all in that conversation with Shark. He was making sure he was saying that the act of being black itself is a form of rebellion against whiteness. All right, and if we
Oh,
allow
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
hold on, if we allow black people to go out and have a bunch of mixed babies, well then like that will lead to white supremacy achieving its end goal. Do you agree with that or no?
Oh no, I don't agree with that, and I don't think that that's exactly what
That's
he was,
literally word
saying
for
or
word what he
meaning
said.
either.
It's literally word for word what he
No,
said.
I mean, I think he might have said that once, but if I remember correctly, he like corrected himself or walked back on it anyway. So like, I mean,
Nope,
I
because
don't.
Shark tried to like ask him, clarifying questions, and it seemed like they always went back to the same place. You also said that like, do you actually think that there's like an extermination of black people going on right now?
Do I think that there is an extermination of black people going on right now? I don't know if I would necessarily call it like a full on extermination, but I do think that there are people who wish who if there are people who I do think would like exterminate black people if they could. Absolutely,
Okay,
100%.
that's not what
Do
I
I think that
asked
there's
though, because you were
do I
saying,
think that there's necessarily?
the
I mean,
specific thing that I'm like trying to like zone in here on, right, is
okay.
why do we care about the skin tone of people into the future? Okay, you obviously don't. You have a mixed race relationship. You're probably going to have mixed race children. You don't care. So why is it that people are going to care about the amount of melanin in their children's skin? Well, for me, I can't think of a reason, either morally or ethically or anything like that. Maybe you just like
Right,
the
because
aesthetic.
you're not a person of color.
No, 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 no.
That's why.
No, because I am white, and I would say the exact same thing to a white supremacist, and I have in the
Right,
past, right?
but there's a
Because
difference.
I don't.
There's a
No, no, no,
stark
no, no.
difference.
Hold on.
There,
There
no,
is
no, no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
hold on. You can't do
No, you keep on
dog, you can't
interrupting
do
me.
this.
You keep on
I
interrupting
know
me. I just want to.
because
I
you
just
keep
want to. I
saying
just want to
things
get a
that are
point out.
not.
I just want to get a point out. All right, because I don't want
That's
us to
fine.
be.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. I don't want this to be ultra antagonistic if it doesn't have to be. I just want to be able to like say a thing, and then you can say a thing, and then I can say a thing. Okay. So like, I don't think in any racial like group out there, I don't think that there should be like a desire to make sure that like we are securing a future for our race and our children of our race, right? Like the 14 fucking words, right? When it's white people, when they say I don't want my kids to come out looking like mocha colored, lattes with the coarse hair and the brown eyes, right? Like it's the aesthetics that they're talking about, and that is everything that Endless was talking about. He never touched on culture. He just said that like by virtue of being black, you are a rebel in to our cause. I think that's also incredibly fucked up because not everybody is like comes out the fucking pussy ready to fight white supremacy. Some people just want to live their fucking lives. Okay, so like the idea that
That's a privilege. That is an incredible privilege that so many people are not awarded to, and you're doing.
Do you think if I went up to any of my black coworkers tomorrow? Do you think if I went to them and I said, "Hey, do you feel like you're fighting against white supremacy just by virtue of you being alive?" Do you think any of them would fucking say that they do feel that way? Normies?
I mean, maybe not, but like, I don't understand how a person who is non-white and who's living in America, who knows the history of like white supremacy and its overall end goal, could not think that, oh yeah, by me just waking up every day, I'm in a way fighting against white supremacy.
Because
I think that's completely plausible.
Because outside of these internet circles, people don't really think like this. Okay, like
no, a lot of people do.
No, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
Bro, you can't tell me this because again, like you're not black. I'm sorry, but this is what this boils down to. You're not a person of color in America, and it's very obvious from this conversation right now that you really do not know.
Is there an intrinsic value of being black?
Getting into what do you mean by what do you mean by intrinsic value? Like, is there any sort of like?
Do you have like by virtue of being black? Do you have some sort of like extra sensory data that I don't have? That anybody else in the United States does not have?
I have the fucking black experience,
right,
dog.
But,
like
but you
I wake
just
up
said,
every day.
You just said that even if I was to ask
whether
black
I
people
notice
at my
it
work,
or not.
Hold on. You just said that if I was to walk up to a black person at my job, they probably wouldn't just say like, "Oh, well, yeah, I feel like I'm a rebel against white supremacy every single day," because just by virtue of being black,
have you talked to him? Because
yes, I talked to a lot of black people. I talked to a lot of black people too. Okay.
Okay, sure you do. All right. Yeah.
Okay, you can not believe me, but I do talk to a lot of black people. I think every single one of my coworkers, except for one, is black.
Okay. And okay, fine, whatever. I don't really care.
Well, you don't care because they don't because it doesn't feed into the narrative that you've built around like this
no, it's not about
black.
a narrative. It's not about a narrative. I just don't give a shit. Why do I care? Why should I? Because
you're saying that black people. Okay, so this is the reason. Okay, this is the reason why. Because you're saying that by virtue of being black, every single day you wake up and you have the exact same experience. So there is some quality.
No, that is
hold on.
That is not what I. That is not. Wait. Do you mean? Wait, no. When you say the same experience, do you mean I have the same experience as black people, or are you saying
that's what you were implying? Yes.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, regardless of whether or not, like the thing is, society, when you wake up every day as a black person, or when you wake up when you wake up period in America, right? Regardless of what your race is, they will see you, America will see you like you a nigga, you a black person, you're a white person. Like you will be seen that way, and society will decide what to do with you accordingly, whether you like it or not. Like there's a ton of black people that I've talked to, that I have called out on like anti-blackness and shit, that do not understand, do not know themselves that they live, or do not understand and do not see that they live as a black person, and that whether or not they're successful, whether or not that they have never, because I used to be one of those black people that's like, well, I've never experienced racism. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit, because you didn't know what the fuck racism actually looked like. You didn't know you didn't know the micro, you don't know what microaggressions are. You don't know what these things look like. So, and you know what? Honestly, Sondsol, I don't blame you
for having the take that you have right now, because I understand how in America, the ways in which the teaching about white supremacy and teaching about racism, I understand how in America we really lack that shit. So like, I do not blame you for, and I really don't blame a lot of people, honestly, for thinking and reacting in the way in which you did, in the way in which you are right now, or the way in which
I'm reacting in the
Shark
way
was
that I
reacting.
am
But there is a
because of the
difference.
things.
There is a
No,
there
no,
is a
no,
stark difference
no.
between living in America as a white person
I don't
and living in
disagree with that.
America
I don't disagree
as
with
a
that.
black
I
person.
don't disagree with that.
Right. And so but like, so let me ask, so why is it that you can't, like, here's the thing, you can disagree with what I'm saying and what other black people are saying about, like, you know, wanting their kids to be dark. That's fine. You can disagree with it, because I partially disagree with it to some extent, but I can at least empathize and understand and give charity to those people, because I understand that where their shit is coming from a place of trauma in many cases. Like, they're coming from a place of, you know, and it's not even just like, you know, so long ago. It's like people always want to say, like, oh, you know, this it's so far in the past. Motherfucker, my grandmother, in many cases, my mother went through that shit, and I come from
Bro,
a
I
family
understand.
of
I don't
black people
disagree.
that
I don't
told
disagree
me,
with anything that
that
you're
told
saying.
me,
I don't
like,
disagree with
we
anything
want
that
you
you're
to
saying.
marry,
Okay.
we want you to marry
Okay, you're preaching to me right now.
black
I
woman.
understand. I understand
Like,
everything that you're saying. But you're preaching to me right now.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
This is black issues, and you ain't black.
But
Like,
you're
you want to
okay.
insert
But you're
yourself in
also.
black
But you're
issues, you
also
get
saying.
preached to.
Okay. But you're also saying that black people could live the black experience but not know it, right? So are the people that disagree with you, the black people that disagree with you, just like stupid black people, and you have to like show them what an actual black person believes?
No,
like, what is that?
I don't necessarily think that they're stupid. I just think that they might be a wee bit ignorant, or they might just not. They just might
everyone
be
that doesn't,
they might not be as
so
educated.
everyone that
It's
doesn't
like,
see
listen,
things from your
wait, hold on,
perspective is
hold on.
uneducated and stupid. Just say that.
I didn't say it was, dog. You said that, not me. I did not say it was
That's
stupid.
the implication behind the words you're saying.
Hold on. Someone being uneducated does not equate to stupidity. That is not what that is. In ignorance, in many cases, does not necessarily equate to stupidity. I 100% believe that people are a product of their environment. You know what you are taught, it's et cetera, and as a result, like, they're all, like I said, ties into what I was saying about the black experience. A lot of people will live. Every black person in America will live the black experience. I can almost guarantee you will live the black experience and not understand that that is exactly what they are living. There are many cases where people, including myself, growing up, have like, you know, have had microaggressions done to them. And because they were not educated in microaggressions and what they are and shit like that, they did not know that that's what that was. And they just smiled and kept it moving. Like, I'm talking from like personal experience, looking back at like past, like young me, like what you're, I'm not trying to get ages here, but like what, you're 20, right?
27.
You're 27? Okay, yeah, we're around the same age. I'm 26. Like, okay. I have gone through, you know, like 26 years. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna shorten it down to maybe like 23, because I want to say like some of those years I probably was not exactly cognitive. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But like, you know, like, whether or not you agree with it, whether or not, and this is a problem that we have with like black.
You're not understanding what my point is.
No, I understand your point.
Okay, completely. What is my point?
I understand what your point is, that like you think that I'm out here defending people that are like that are race purists or whatever, like I'm defending racial purity, or at least that's part of like your point and why we're here tonight. And then your other point is that like people don't live the. What is your point? Go ahead and tell me, what is your point?
My point is that there are, like, believe it or not, people of any race can be racist. All right. And I don't think
I think they can be prejudiced and commit microaggressions and shit like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Interpersonal racism is still racism. I don't care about like the power plus prejudice in the context of this conversation.
But you need to, though. You can't.
Hold on. In the context of this conversation, in the context of this conversation, I don't think it actually matters, because a black person, telling a mixed race person that they don't have the black experience in the way that they do is not going to like have any structural, actual like systemic power behind it, but it's still going to be really fucking shitty to that person.
Yeah, it is fucking shitty. But
okay,
like,
that's what I'm trying to speak to.
Wait, no, hold on. Racism, whether white people like this or not, like racism, when we talk about the system of race and racism, is, I'm sorry to say this, but prejudice plus power. Like, yeah,
Do you think that dark-skinned people? Okay, hold on. Do you think that dark-skinned? You have talked so much. I have to ask you so many questions. Yeah, you're okay. So you're black, so you get to talk a whole bunch. Is that what the argument is here?
Hold on. When we're talking about black issues,
yeah,
yes,
but you're saying things that.
Okay,
if you're trying to sit here, and you're trying to educate me, then you're not doing a very good job because you're just saying things that I don't disagree with. You're saying things that I don't disagree with. That white people and black people have different kinds of experiences in the United States. You're saying that like, oh wow, well we have to look at the systems of race and how those things intersect with how people live and how those things can push people down. Of course, I fucking understand all of this, but you're not speaking to the actual conversation that we're having. You're speaking around everything and you're just saying like, oh wow, racism exists. Wow, fucking congratulations, dude. You just solved racism. You single-handedly just educated me on what racism is. Now, let's talk about the actual race mixing that we're talking about here.
I'm black and I'm not getting as heated about this issue as you
no,
are. Like,
I'm getting heated because you keep on talking, but like I want to talk about the specific thing that we came to talk about.
Because see, that's the thing. When we actually talk about, like intersectionality, and when we talk about the ways in which like a lot of this shit is a lot deeper than just a bare bones liberal understanding of these issues and the ways in which racism plays a part. When I walk up to someone and say, "What's up, whitey?" That's a lot different. That has a lot less weight to it than when someone walks up to me and calls me an N-word with the heart.
Yeah, holy shit! Another
ER.
non-controversial fucking statement that has nothing to do with the conversation that we're having right now.
What's like I'm struggling to see why you are having such a hard time with this conversation.
Okay, can you okay? How about this? Can you tie back what you just said about walking up and saying whitey and then someone walking up and saying the N-word to you? Can you tie that back to race mixing?
Well, I mean, you wanted to sit here and say like race. I'm just addressing the point that you said earlier about like not even probably 5 minutes ago, where you said, well, racism is still bad. I mean, like, yeah, no shit, but like there's different levels and there's different like.
I don't disagree with that, but that's why I said specifically. Because you're not listening to me. You're waiting for me to say something that you disagree with, so that you can go fucking ape shit. Okay, I'm saying
I'm not waiting. You're the only one here this entire time that's gone ape shit. I've been completely calm.
Listen. If you think that you talking over me every single fucking sentence is being calm, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Okay?
We talking about black shit, and I'm black, and you said some wrong shit. So
okay, so hold on. No, we're talking about race mixing. Okay, so this also involves white people, so we're talking about white people shit too. All right, I get to speak.
All right, I see you there.
All right.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so that's why
it's
I
not as simple as race mixing, but continue.
Sure, I understand. All right, it was a joke. Okay, holy fuck.
Okay.
So, what I'm trying to say is, right, like you're talking about like the broad scope of what racism is. I'm trying to talk about like there is a very, very small subset of people in the black community that will say shit like, I don't want my black like bloodline to go away. I want to make sure that there are dark-skinned people like me in the future. This is mirroring 1-to-1, literally verbatim, the rhetoric of white nationalists.
Okay,
why is that okay for black people and not for white people?
So what you're telling me is that you don't understand the difference between, and I do admit, right? Like there are some like, there are quite a few like, Dr. Umar's out there. There are some really problematic motherfuckers that really need to just shut up and not speak again. I would not fight you on that, like 100%.
That's all I'm trying to say.
So no, but like the thing is that again, it's a lot deeper than that. Like, when you said like, okay, so there's a big difference between when like a black person says that and when like a white person says that.
What is the difference?
Like when say one more time.
What is the difference? That's what I'm trying to get to.
What's the difference?
What is the difference between trying to keep someone that looks like you?
I've said this, and Endless has said this. So many other black people have been saying this. That like the shit we've gone through, white people haven't gone through that shit. White people don't go through that shit.
How does that justify racial purity?
I mean, it might not even necessarily justify it, but
that's all I want to say. It's unjustifiable. We agree.
The reason I'm here is to get you to, at the very least, understand where these sentiments originate, and for you to
already understand.
that shit.
I understand where these
So
sentiments
like,
come from.
so why the
That's
fuck
why I said.
do you keep
That's why I
saying?
said. Hold on, really quick. That's why I said at the beginning of this, there are ways that they could have like made an argument about like the black guy who got together with a white lady, and then the mixed child got together with a white lady, and there wasn't any. They were like a white kid. Like after that.
But that's
like,
not what
hold
the.
on, wait. That's
That's
exact.
not
That's
why-
literally.
that's
That's
not-
not your.
wait,
Wait,
hold on.
please.
But that's
I gotta say.
not where
I gotta
this
say
whole-
something. I gotta finish.
I know you gotta say
Okay,
something, but
okay,
hold on. I gotta
hold-
say something though.
I know.
because you're
Say it
going-
after me. Say it after me. Because what they were saying wasn't
Oh my
the
God.
the
All
good
right.
the good argument that I could see being totally justified, right? Like, oh wow, there's a guy, he gets successful, he doesn't like look back at his community ever again. I can understand that's a shitty thing, but that's not what they were saying. Do you recognize that?
Right, but I think that they weren't saying that because of the fact that Shark did not understand where Endless was coming from in his response to Shark's
We're talking about the original tweet.
Endless's-
The original tweet.
Endless is okay, but I'm not just talking about I'm not talking about just the original tweet though.
We have to start
I'm
there.
also talking. Okay, I get that, and I'm not fighting you on that, right? I'm not. I understand that there are some people where it's like, okay, it's a little weird to sit there and go, like I really, I can't stand that happen. Like when people use shit like bloodline, right? Like that kind of
exactly.
My
That's what
sussy sense goes off a little bit.
That's
But-
can
but,
I-
like-
before we move
the
on.
thing about-
This
but
is
the-
all I want to get done with that thing,
Okay.
and then we can move on. Okay.
Okay,
I like to take things like step by step. Okay, so the original tweet, you think that those people were talking about bloodlines in a very strange way, talking about like, got to make sure that there's like enough melanin in their skin. My bloodline got ruined because of the white people genes in it. Like, do you think that that's acceptable or no?
They didn't. I don't even think they said.
They say
that, though. I
bloodline,
just
but
think-
like if
Right,
you look
but
at the
you
no,
went-
if
you
you look
went-
at
you went a
the
little
original
deeper
tweet,
than-
no, if you look at the original tweet's responses, that's what they were saying. They were talking about inferior
Oh,
white
the responses.
genes.
I'm not talking about the responses.
Well, I'm
not
talking about.
the
I'm
responses.
just talking about. I want to start from a. This is what I want to do. I want to start from a
only
like,
talking about,
baseline
like,
understanding
the tweet?
that we can like both
Shark's
level with each
response
other.
to the tweet.
Yeah, no, I know.
and
I want to
then
get there.
Endless's response to the
I just
tweet.
want to say, like, I want to like break bread with you, brother. All right. I want to understand.
Don't
at
really
this-
care about that.
Okay.
but sure.
I just want us to both start from a point where we both agree on something. Okay. So can we agree that when we look at those responses, when we look at the original tweet, right, that shit was unacceptable.
Yeah, like a lot of that shit was. I mean, it depends on the way in which they word it and all that shit. But like for the most part, yeah, I would say if you're hyper fixated on bloodline, and I did retweet some things that were saying like, yeah, this is like low key Nazi shit. I can understand where that came
Okay,
from.
exactly.
But
That's
what
all
I'm
I wanted to
talking
say.
about, but I want to talk about, and I guess you agree with me on this. It's like understanding where that shit comes from and how it is not in there is a window where it is not exactly the same thing as when white Nazis do it. It is
No,
not
it
exactly
is-
the same thing
no,
because
no.
in many cases
I
it is
don't give a fuck what your
response-
reason. No, this is what I'll
It
say.
is a response.
I don't give a
to
fuck what the
trauma
reason is.
and hurt.
I don't give
is
a fuck
it
what the
is.
reason is because
But
you know
you
what?
have
The
to,
fucking
though. If
white
you're
people,
gonna
the
talk about
fucking
this and give
groypers,
your
the
opinion,
fucking young
you
ass
have
fucking
to.
groypers, the
You
little
can't
boys.
compare
that are-
this.
no,
You
I can.
You can't keep comparing this to groypers because eventually it falls out. It falls off because of the reasoning behind both of these things. In many cases, black people wouldn't be thinking this
So
shit.
you lied
If
earlier when you
white
said, hold on. So
supremacy-
you lied earlier when you
It-
said that it was
it-
completely unjustifiable. Okay, got it. So
Wait,
now
what?
we can
No,
now we
no,
can move back
no,
to the
I'm
point
just-
where we
no,
can
no,
say
no,
that when
dude,
you
dude.
talk about
Oh my
racial
God.
purity, you're in the fucking
I'm
wrong.
trying. No. I'm trying to get you to understand that there's many different layers to this discussion and this conversation. I
Sure,
don't think
but
you're
the
being
first layer,
charitable
I
enough-
think, no.
Hold on.
I can agree that there are many different layers to this, like an ogre, like an onion. Okay, but what I want to start off with is that like talking about racial purity is fucking disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Talking about racial purity, it can be disgusting. It can be
No,
uncomfortable.
it is
but it is
disgusting.
still
No,
something.
it's not uncomfortable.
It is
It's
still
disgusting.
something. It is still something that I think we do need to delve into, and we do need to, and I guess we can do that tonight. Delve into the fact that there is a like racial purity. Yeah, it's bad, but again, we need to understand where it comes from.
It doesn't
When
matter
white
to me.
people do
I
it.
can tell you right now.
but it should. It should. If
Give
you
me
truly
one
care
good
about these
reason.
issues, and if you patience, young one. When you, which is funny because you're older than me. Sorry about that. But
I don't give a fuck. Dude.
when
It's
white
fine.
people do it, it's for a sake of supremacy. When black people do it, it's for the sake of, hey, we don't want to die out. And I do admit, right, that's kind of reactionary. I do admit that is
no,
a wee bit
they both say they
reactionary.
don't want to die
But
out.
I
They both say that they don't
Yeah.
want to die out. They don't want to become
like,
white people don't want to become the
white
minority in the
people-
United States. So that's why the fucking
okay,
Groypers are saying that
but-
we need to
okay,
fucking breed like fucking
but, like-
buddies with all the white people, so that we can have all these trad wives and all these fucking white children running around in our fucking white picket
but,
lawn. Like,
where
yes.
is the systemic where is the, are they afraid of like that they're gonna all of a sudden be the ones that are subjected to racism?
That would be
Is that what they're scared of?
That would be one of the things. Another one would be that they don't
Okay,
think.
so then
Well, hold on. Listen. I know what their arguments are because I've argued against them a lot.
Happen though? Because see, here's the thing: a lot
No,
of black
I don't
people
think it's.
say,
I don't think it's going to
necessarily agree
happen.
with it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, but see, here's the thing: is right is that like there's a lot of black people, and I understand where they're coming from. Or a lot of people of color in general, that not even just people of color, white people say this too. White people are lucky that black people just want equality and not revenge. Because the thing is, there's a case that can be made. I think there's a case that can be made that like there are a shit ton of white people in America that if they could press a button and only white people exist in America and like every other person was like wiped out and they could like feel it, not feel it on their conscience or whatever, they would absolutely press that button. Meanwhile, there is not a lot of black people that would press that button. There are a lot of black people that are like, you know what? We have been so charitable. Like black people in general have been so charitable to white people, and you know we've understood, we've gone so in depth about like how, you know, a lot of this is like the products of like capitalism and all this other kind of shit, right? Black people have been so charitable to white people. Meanwhile, white people, it's just been straight reactionary shit. Every fucking time we bring this shit up, every fucking time we talk about this shit, dog. So like, it's
okay. So do you realize that you just repeated? Do you realize that you just made the argument? Do you realize that you just repeated a white supremacist? You have been making the case for it. No, brother, my guy. You have made the argument that white supremacists used in the 60s to try and argue against the civil rights movement.
Arguments can be similar, but still not exactly
verbatim.
There's a difference between it.
Okay, so what was the argument that you just made?
Things are implemented. No.
We're lucky that white people are lucky that black people just wanted equality and not revenge, right?
Yeah, and it's the truth. It is very much the truth.
Okay, so that is literally my grandfather, my racist ass piece of shit grandfather, okay, that wouldn't let my dad hang out with all of his friends that were black because he was in the first integrated class in his small little fucking town, okay? That motherfucker was not in favor of the Civil Rights Act and Civil Rights Movement because he was scared that the black people were going to come for them. You're literally repeating and saying that, yeah, that is true. Black people could have.
Except there's not a lot of validity to that because we don't want to do.
No,
that.
Hold on. Is it valid? Wait, you literally just said that it was completely valid that black people could have wanted revenge, but they didn't. They just wanted equality.
Right? Yeah.
Is it valid or is it not valid?
I mean, okay.
You're literally saying it's valid and it's not valid at the same time.
Can you let me clarify?
Go for it.
So I can understand, and it's valid that for black people to feel that way, to feel like they want revenge. But it is not valid for him to say that that is something that black people are going to do because that's not something that we want to do. This is not. It is not something I want. It's not something my parents want. It's not. There's some black people like the black separatists, but I don't fuck with them. Like they do them over there. And I stand against them and speak out against that shit.
Okay, that's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing here. But you're sitting here. No, because you are making the argument that we should be charitable to them. You're making the argument that we should be charitable to them.
I'm arguing that maybe you should give them the same bit of charity or
I have no sympathy for racists or race supremacists. I have no sympathy.
Have you ever talked to a black separatist before?
Yes.
Have you ever listened to him?
Yes.
Have you ever talked to them on your stream before?
Yes.
You have?
There might be a video on my YouTube.
Because for the most part, I see you and a lot of other liberals on Twitch talking to a lot of Nazis, but not a lot of white Nazis, but not a lot of the black ones, and not a lot of I'm just saying.
They don't have as large of platforms. People don't know about them as much. But there have been some that come through my chat, and I've argued with them before in the past.
Okay, but like I think maybe you could learn a thing or two, if you talk to them and learn that a lot of it just comes from pain. Again, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with any of the shit.
Their arguments are there. Hold on, their underlying reasons. Hold on.
I understand that their shit comes from pain. Is essentially where it comes from.
And I don't give a fuck.
You should. You very well should.
So the incel. Do you have Do you have like empathy? Do you think that we should be more understanding of the incels that go out and shoot up a bunch of fucking women and fucking chads?
Do I think
Because they're
that
doing
they
it from a
should-
place of they're doing it from a place of pain. That's why they did it.
I don't think so. That's more from a place of entitlement than it is pain. I mean, if you're gonna call
They're-
yourself
they're-
involuntarily, no. If you're gonna call yourself involuntarily celibate, so it's society's fault that you can't get laid. Like
They
fuck?
are.
No,
They
that is-
no. They have. They
that
have.
is-
No. Do you not understand anybody fucking point of view except for your own?
No, I do understand their point of view. I'm just evaluating and I see, oh yeah, you're gonna say that like, oh, like society should let me get laid and
No,
shit. Like, oh,
no,
society
I don't
has
agree with anything.
involuntarily
hold on.
celibate.
I don't agree with any of the things. But
Involuntarily celibate. So it's not my fault that I am celibate. Or what it like I am forced into celibacy is what they're saying. It's like, no, nah, dog. No
okay,
one's forcing
so
you
you
into
don't understand
celibacy.
you don't understand
You're
it.
just undateable.
No, you don't understand.
You're
it.
just fucking undateable because
Yes,
you believe
they're undateable
you
because
believe
hold
shit.
on. So this is the
hold
reason.
on.
No. You have been talking
I
more
do,
than
I
enough,
do.
but you don't
Sondsol,
understand incels.
Sondsol.
You don't
No,
understand
I do,
incels.
I do.
No, you
I
don't.
study a
Because
lot
the
of
reason,
their shit. I
okay,
study
if
a
you
lot
study
of
their
their
shit, then you would
rhetoric.
be so. Then you should be fucking cast out of whatever fucking program that you're studying. Then,
No.
if you're
So,
doing it in an
the
academic
thing is-
fucking setting, okay?
the
Because the
thing
reason
is,
that incels
they-
are
a
so
lot of their
fucking
shit-
bad is because
a
they
lot of
feel
their
pain
shit-
inside because they don't feel like they fit into society in any way, shape, or form. They feel like they are unlovable. They feel like they are unlovable at the very baseline. So nobody will
and
ever
you know
love
what?
them.
And you know
right?
what?
And then
And
they
you know
become.
what?
Then they bring out the entitlement. Okay, but that's downstream
And you
of
know
the
what?
pain that
And
they
you know
feel
what?
because of
No,
all the
no.
rejection. So if you're saying
no,
that we should
okay.
we should feel bad for black people, but not for incels, so explain to me
Even
why.
with inceldom, do you want to talk about like how inceldom in many cases equates to toxic masculinity? About how a lot of these people are just fucking dicks to begin with? How a lot of these people
No,
who
I
go
want you
and
to
shoot
explain
up
to
the
me why we should have more empathy for black people than for incels.
That were bullies. Like, do you not understand?
Why
that, like,
should
in
we
many cases,
be more
like, okay,
empathetic towards
it's funny-
black
it's
Nazis
funny-
than for
hold on.
incels?
It's funny that you bring up inceldom because a lot of incels tend to be white men. Tend to be white men.
Don't disagree.
Who tend to be white men who have been promised the world because of white supremacy. But white supremacy, we started to realize, oh, this is just something that just upholds the capitalist system and hierarchy and what have you. And then they realize that it has failed them, but they don't know how to react to that, to that failure or how to unpack that. So yeah, I don't think I ever gave you my answer. Maybe I did. Maybe I did give you my answer. But I did. I did say that I do understand where incels come from. But the point is, are they willing to accept the fact that in many cases they have to work on themselves? That is his point blank period at the end. In many
Do
cases,
the black
incels-
supremacists understand that at some point they have to look at themselves and see that there's nothing intrinsic about their race that is like any more or less important?
I mean,
yeah. So then
they
why do I have to have?
look at them? Hold on. They do need to look inside themselves to an extent and say, hey, look, and go, hey, look, maybe I'm being a bit too extreme. Like, I get that. Like, you're not gonna get any pushback from me on that.
Would you
But,
give
like,
any
okay,
of the same
my
amount
God.
of charity to a
When was
fucking
the last
groiper?
time? When was the last time a black supremacist went, a black separatist went and shot up an all-white like school or an all-white like
Literally,
like,
wasn't there like just like 2 or 3 months ago the guy that got onto the fucking subway in New York City with
he
two
like
fucking
maybe maimed or like maybe
he killed
wounded like
multiple
one person.
You asked if there was a shooting. I gave you an example off the top of my head immediately.
And like okay, is that comparable to the SWATs throughout history up until modern day of white supremacists, incels or not, that have gone and literally burned down entire black cities, entire black towns and neighborhoods, gone ahead and like just randomly lynched random black people. Like, you talking about this one isolated incident and comparing it to the like almost probably hundreds of times throughout fucking history. Like, it's just not
I
comparable.
like how you
dog.
have to
It's
go throughout
not
all
comparable.
fucking human history to fucking make your point. But I don't disagree with you. There's more white supremacist
Because
violence.
it's
Hold on,
linked.
brother, my guy, dude,
Fucking linked.
chill. I don't disagree. There's more. Hold on. There's more white supremacist violence than black supremacist violence. Okay, but that
Thank
doesn't
you.
matter to this conversation.
Why not?
Because we're talking about whether or not it is ever acceptable for people to be race purists. You are making the argument that I should be
I mean, I
more
don't think it's-
hold on,
I don't
bro. Okay. You're saying that I should be more empathetic
Because-
toward. Gee, I haven't even. I get to the exact same point in the fucking sentence. And
Okay, just finish it. Finish
Okay.
it for the love of God.
You're saying that I should have more empathy for black supremacists who want to maintain a black bloodline, a black genetic fucking string than I should for white supremacists. I have zero sympathy for either. Well, I can have sympathy in the fact that they're like obviously
not
in some sort of like
understand?
media bubble where they think that they're
Do you not
like
understand?
obviously in the right, but they're both wrong. They're
You wanna-
both
you wanna know-
wrong,
you wanna know the
and I'm
difference?
going
You
to
wanna know the
call them
difference?
both
You wanna know the
out in the
difference?
exact
You wanna know the
same
difference?
way.
You know the difference? Black people, in many cases, more often than not, black supremacists or black separatists in many cases do not want to exterminate non-black people. White supremacists do. There is a difference between the white supremacists. It doesn't just stop.
Were you reading your chat earlier today?
Hold on.
Were you reading your chat earlier today?
My chat when I was watching when
you were in your panel.
Somewhat, yeah, but I was also participating in my panel.
Okay, so I have some screenshots up on my screen. J Blue Eyes 1977. OMG,
Okay.
let's fucking do away with the white race. Let's mix the races. Fuck this shit. I'm shaking right now. I say let's mix and erase the race of whites. Fuck them.
That wasn't from
Hate them. No, it's not. OMG, give me a gun. I have target practice to do.
That wasn't from that panel. That was from a different panel a while ago. And I have since corrected that person. And you know what the funny part about that person is? They're fucking white.
Oh, wow. Crazy how your rhetoric can make people feel that way.
It wasn't my rhetoric that was making them feel that way. They were listening to a fucking Prime panel, and the shit that was being
do
said
away
on
with
the
the white
Prime panel,
race.
the shit that they were saying on the people were saying on the Prime panel.
I have target practice to do.
Yeah. They were, because you want to know why they felt that way? Because she was listening to me being on a Prime panel full of dudes, predominantly white dudes, talking about her fucking body with goddamn abortion and her being able to express bodily fucking autonomy.
Okay,
that's
so
why she said
that
this is what happens.
Hold on,
when you're
no.
This is what
that
happens
excuses,
when you're only
that
fishing.
excuses for
it
you.
doesn't excuse it. I never fucking excuse it.
You're
Sondsol.
literally excusing it right now. You're saying this is what happens when this happens. That is like I don't know if you speak English, but that is exactly what it means.
You are not. You went fishing to a panel my comment section from a panel from months ago to prove a fucking point that's not even. You're not even proving a point here, dog. Because again, I corrected that person. I corrected them,
and yet you're still here making excuses for them. That because they felt listen. You said
understand where that's coming from. I can understand what I can just staunchly understand where it's coming from, and maybe other people need to see that screenshot so they know motherfuckers out here may be kind of crazy when you take away bodily autonomy and you have a bunch of white dudes on that want to sit and go, yeah, let's defend this shit, dog.
Except for the people that took away fucking abortion rights weren't only white men. There was also a woman and a black man on that Supreme Court that voted against it. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But she didn't just say white men, did she? She also said
the white race.
Yeah, she said, yeah, exactly. Like, but the thing is that like I understood that was bad. It was. I corrected her on it. Me, my community, my team, like we talked about that. We corrected her on
so
that
that's
stuff.
all I'm doing. That's all I've been doing all day is correcting MF Endless on his fucking rhetoric that talks about like, if you have mixed children, he said that if you have mixed children, you are contributing to white supremacy.
I don't remember. I mean, can you find a clip where he said that? Because
can someone please in chat find that clip for me? Like I literally like watched it like 14 times because people kept on coming into chat and not believing me.
Okay, please play the clip or drop it in our chat real quick. Like please play the clip.
Does anybody in chat?
Because
someone will find it for me.
If he said that, I don't agree with that, and I'm not even necessarily here defending Endless. That's another thing. I'm not even necessarily here defending him. I am more along the lines of like trying to get you to see to see that there is like. There's difference in validity between the way it's not just as blanket,
no. We've already established that we both agree that there is no validity to anybody going at into racial purity. Okay, we've already established that. I don't want to relitigate that because we've already both said that racial purity is fucking cringe. That's what I wanted to establish at the bat. Now we're going to say now that black people have more validity by saying that they want to have racial purity. Fuck that shit. No,
it's not even that. It's just understanding. You can't. I don't think that you can necessarily 100% compare like when white people are literally like, I want a fucking ethno state full of just only white people, exterminate all these motherfuckers that don't look like
well, that's not what Groypers even say.
But what versus saying, or some, a lot of them do. They might not say it in your chat, but a lot of them do. And a lot of them will say it. They might
because
not say
no. Because this is my problem with people like you. You don't actually understand what the other side. Yes, because you don't actually understand what the other side says. You just say things. You just say things.
I said because you're not understanding it here either. And that's.
I literally had a conversation with another black guy that wants to come in here and mediate this. If you want to have that happen, but I literally had a conversation with him.
I don't need a mediator. This is just between you and I. I don't need another mediator. This is just between you and I.
Okay, so
another
I literally had a
person.
conversation
My
with a
side or
black
your
guy
side?
earlier who said that I generally, and you can correct me, Yamoto, if I said, if this is what happened, but like, we both kind of like understood what like the possibility of like where the line was on what could be acceptable and what isn't acceptable, right? I think that literally every single fucking thing that, Endless said, especially fucking Bink Princess said today, were like completely fucking out of line with any kind of like leftist ideal. I'm not even a leftist anymore, but like if you're a leftist and you want to talk about like, oh well, sometimes racial purity is like an okay kind of fucking thing to do, like you should
But, like, I
not
don't
be
think they
fucking
were
okay
talking
with that.
about. I don't think that they were talking about necessarily
He
like.
said multiple fucking times that there needs to be a lot of dark-skinned black people to fight against white supremacy. Because if there are
I
more
mean, there needs
mixed,
to be
hold
everybody.
on. He said because if we keep on having mixed children, then white supremacy will have realized its ultimate
I mean,
goal.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna
You
need
can
that.
find. We
I'm gonna
can.
need, I'm gonna need that
Someone's
clip.
looking for the clip in chat. Okay.
Please, I'm gonna need that clip. Again, I'm not even necessarily here to defend Endless and his claim. I'm just trying to get you. It's funny because you say, like you say, you can't understand the other side, but like
No, I
you're
understand the
doing
other
that
side.
now.
I
You're
understand
doing
the
that,
other side.
but you're not though.
I
You
can
don't
understand
the other side.
the other side's
You
argument.
don't seem to
Okay.
understand
The
it.
other side's argument is that due to the effects of white supremacy over the course of like hundreds, if not like the past like it'd probably be hundreds of years. Since
It
like
would be
the
hundreds of years. It would be since this country was
six,
founded.
well, like
Before that.
16, well, before that, yeah, exactly. So like because of like all the racial animus that's happened and all the slavery stuff and all of the horrible shit that's happened to black people, it is understandable that black people might be a little bit more defensive over their the way that they look and the way that they act in society and the way that they have their culture, and we should be more empathetic towards that. Okay, that's the other side's argument. Do you am I wrong or am I right?
No, that's right.
Okay, yeah, I fucking understand it. I just think that that is not at all any way justification for someone to say that there should be racial purity or that we should make sure that there is enough like dark black people. Yes, he literally no, he didn't. No, okay, sure, I'll admit that. You know what? Yeah, I'll admit that.
Okay,
He
so
said,
you
hold on,
admit it now?
hold on,
Like, do you-
wait,
you can't keep doing this.
because
No,
I
wait,
can
no,
do this
no,
because he's no. Have you ever
dog,
heard of?
'cause you
Have you ever heard
literally-
of hiding the power level?
So you're admitting that you lied.
No, it's not a
So
lie.
you're admitting that you lied.
Sure, I'll explain it. Okay, so
No, you're admitting that you lied.
there's no lie.
You're admitting
There's no
that
lie.
you fucking lied.
There's no lie.
Because you said
There's
that
no
he
lie.
was that he was engaging.
Where is the lie?
In, like,
I don't see it.
racial purity, just like you randomly call me an ethno
Because he-
on,
no,
on
no.
fucking Twitter.
No,
Like-
because he was saying that every single time a black man or a black woman has a child with a white person, they are contributing to white supremacy. And if there are no more dark-skinned black
Where
people
did he
like
say
him,
that? Because I think
it is in the middle of the
conversation.
conversation with him and Shark. And Shark was fucking
the clip.
taken
I need the
aback.
clip.
I need someone, please,
I need the
someone
clip.
in chat because I
Yeah,
can't
please,
talk to
someone,
you at the
please,
same
'cause I don't
time
remember.
and
I
find
don't
the clip.
remember everything from the discussion because there were some things that Endless said that I didn't necessarily agree with. Like I said, I don't even agree with like the original tweet in question. Like I don't agree with that, but I can at the very least, understand why a black person might say, you know what, I would like it if I would like it if my children were dark skinned. Like I said, that sentiment has come from my very fucking family, and to a degree, like it hurts me because hurts that has hurt my partner in a way,
Okay.
who is a white woman.
Yes,
Like,
but he
that
also
is-
said that there's no reason why anyone should ever be with a white person because their family might be racist, and that's a disservice to their black child. So,
Okay,
like,
I remember when he
Bing
said
Princess,
that. If I
Bing
remember
Princess
correctly,
literally said
he
that a white woman
said-
could never be a good mother to a mixed child because they would never ever know the fucking struggles. They wouldn't know how to do
Okay,
their hair. They
I
wouldn't know
didn't-
how. That's
okay, if
literally
she
what
said
they're
that-
saying. They are
okay,
fucking.
if
They said
she's-
disgusting
Okay,
fucking shit
hold on,
today.
Hold on. If she said that, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't.
Yeah,
I
I would hope not.
I
Yes, you're probably-
stayed. I kind of just stayed for the talk with Shark, and then after that I got bored. And no offense to Endless, but after that I can't sit for streams that long.
No, I
suck
understand.
at
Like
it.
I'm
Anyways.
not a stream watcher myself.
But like, and if she said that, like, that's wrong. But I think that maybe something that she might have meant to say was that
She reiterated
there is
it
a
later to
blind
Demon
spot.
Mama.
There is a blind spot for a lot of white women, and my fiance is making sure that she covers that blind spot, that she has that blind spot covered, and that is that there are certain when
you're a white person, you just don't know what it's like to be black. You don't know what it's like to have, like coarse, kinky hair in many cases. You don't know what it's like to you don't know what it's like to, go through the black experience every day. So as a result, there's going to be that blind spot is going to be there when it comes down
Does
to
that mean
a
that they
white
can't
woman
be a
or a
good
white
mother?
or a white father raising.
Does that mean that they
black
can't be a
children.
good parent?
No, I don't. No. Like I said, if that's what she said, I disagree with that.
Okay,
I don't think
yes,
that's
okay.
something that should have came out of somebody's mouth.
The thing that
Um,
MF Endless said, that the very act of having a child with a white person, right? If you don't like vet every single one of their family members and make sure that they are like anti-racist, right? Not even just like, maybe they're just like fucking boomers and they're like, I don't see color, right? But like the people that are like anti-racist that are going out there and fucking black bloc, all right? If they're not that far with it.
I don't think he meant that. I think he just. If I remember correctly, because I think I know what you're talking about. He said that you never know, or he said like he doesn't want to get with somebody who has like racist family members. Like,
Right. He said if their aunt,
wouldn't-
if the girl's aunt was racist, he wouldn't be able to do it.
I mean, I somewhat disagree with that, but like, you know what? He also made a good point. I can't exactly fault him for that. If
No,
he doesn't
that's
want his
insane
kids
to
to experience racism and be cut off from a,
He
know
is
what
a black man having a child in America. That child's going to experience racism. I'm sorry,
Okay,
but like
from
if
their
you're
family,
trying to,
though? From their family though, that's
do you think that
experiencing from your family, dog?
Do you think that mixed
your-
children might experience racism from their black family?
Oh yeah. Like
Okay,
that,
so then why the fuck? So then
yeah.
you should never have a mixed race child, according to that logic.
No.
Because there's either going to be someone that's racist on the white side or on the black side.
Okay, oh my god, I'm not endless. Okay, that's the first thing.
I'm
not
going
him.
off of his logic, and you're defending his
Wait,
logic.
Can you just shut up for a hot second?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not even like I'm just saying that I understand where he's coming from, and he makes a decent point. Like I would say even
So
it's
you are defending his point of view.
Oh my god! Shut up for 2 seconds.
I just don't understand where you're getting at.
Shut up.
Okay.
Sondsol, shut the fuck up.
Chill,
for
dude.
2
I
seconds.
thought we were chill here.
Shut up. Shut up.
I thought we were nice. I thought we were being friends.
You should know something about me. I don't really give a fuck about pleasantries. All right.
Me either.
Just shut up. Shut up. God. I can understand. And this is why I've like what you said about like black people being racist to mixed kids too. Like, I will make sure. And again, I'm not endless. I'm not fucking endless. I make sure, and in my family, they're coming around to it. Like, you know what? Yeah, he's gonna have mixed kids. And we just need to accept the fact that he's gonna marry a white woman, he's gonna have mixed kids. And I know for a fact that my family is going to be completely okay with me having a mixed race child. They're gonna love them. I'm probably gonna have to fight both my family and my partner's family just to see my child, because they're gonna when we have a child, they're gonna obsess over that child. Okay, like, but I understand where he'd be coming from both the. I think there was a blind spot there for like the black side of that too. He should have covered that. Like, yeah, there's black people that are going. And that's probably where his argument falls apart a little bit. But I can understand. Again, it just seems like a valid point to be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to have kids with a race person because they're also probably gonna be racist to me too.
I agree
Like,
with that.
and-
Obviously, like, don't have fucking kids with someone who's racist against your fucking race. That's obviously fucking stupid. But like the fucking thing, like you're fucking bending yourself into pretzels trying to defend what he said, right? Like because you did because you said that you disagreed.
Disagree with what I just said.
No,
You literally disagree with what I just said.
Yeah, because you said earlier.
disagreed.
Yes, because earlier you said that you disagreed with it.
But you literally disagreed. Like, yeah, don't have kids with racist people.
Oh wait, hold on.
Oh my God. That's kinda
Wait,
what
I
he was
misunderstood
saying.
you. I misunderstood
Don't
you.
have
Hold
kids
on.
with
Wait,
racist
wait.
people.
Wait. Did you say that I just agreed or I disagreed?
No, you just agreed.
Okay, yes, obviously
just
I agree
agreed.
with that, but that's not what he said.
No, that is literally what he was saying. Don't have. He's a little bit scared to have kids with
A little bit
with some
scared to
white
the point
people.
where he's saying that like the there's like almost no way for you to have white kids or like a mixed kids with someone without contributing to white supremacy.
Okay, that part. I think he might have said something, but if I remember
Well,
correctly,
we
he
have
said
people
something
scrubbing
later.
through.
He said, yeah, I know. He if I remember correctly, he said something later on that completely contradicted that anyway. That I kind of raised an eyebrow. It's like, well, like I
Do you
mean,
remember what it was?
it
Maybe
was
I can
like, well,
remember?
even when black people have kids in general, it is, and I think Bink agreed with this as well. When black people have kids in general, it is fighting against white supremacy, even mixed children. Like if I remember correctly, he said that. And yeah, if he did say earlier. I think he said something along the lines of you know, like having kids with white women contributes to white supremacy, whatever. But like, in my opinion, that doesn't matter if he later goes back on it and says like, you know, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
so
it's
it's okay if
problematic. Like he went back on it and said like, oh, well, when black kids have kids and when black people have kids in general, they are fighting against, you know, they're fighting against or they're
yeah, but like if you're
white
if you're
supremacy, whatever.
having like mixed race kids, then you're like contributing to it and you're fighting against it a little bit. It's a little bit of both.
But if I remember correctly, and again, I'm not even here necessarily because we haven't even gotten to we've been talking for about an hour and we haven't even gotten to the thing that I really wanted to talk about.
What is it
And
that we were
was
supposed to talk about?
the thing about how what Shark was saying, how he was using white supremacist rhetoric, because that's the whole reason why that conversation started. And I don't even think they got into it either because
okay,
Shark was
we're just
Shark
never gonna.
misunderstood what Endless was saying at the beginning, which was that when he said like, I thought I was looking at a Tommy Lauren tweet for a second, because Shark used white supremacist rhetoric in his original response to the tweet to the Twitter thread that was just not needed whatsoever, saying that these people come from broken homes. These people were upset because they didn't have a loving family. Meanwhile, I've heard the same shit from like, you know, I want to keep my bloodline pure from my own fucking family, and we do not have a broken household. Like, and I do not come from broken households. Like, I come
Do you
from
think it's
households
more
with mom
likely?
and dad
Do you
in the
think it's
house
more
the entire
likely
time.
or
Like,
less likely that someone that has like a really like shit life is going to be like sucked into extremist groups like that?
I think that they are going to be sucked. I think that someone who has a shit life, as someone, again, like I work with the homeless for a living. So yes, I do know that people that have shit lives are more likely to engage or
So
become
where
sucked
was he
into
wrong?
groups, because in many cases you will hear that shit from a not, like I said, from a non-broken
And,
household.
and
As a matter of
okay,
fact, I think,
and I can point
hold
towards
on,
I can point
think,
towards people who
I
want to
think I've
have,
heard
you
that
know, little
more.
white children with blue eyes that are like race purists.
Oh my god, I have
We can point
heard,
to outliers
if
all
anything,
fucking day, but I don't think that actually gets our
if anything,
conversation any
I
further.
don't think it's necessarily an outlier. But like I have heard, if anything, I think I've probably heard the take that I need to have I need to have like black kids. I've probably heard that more from less broken black households, like, and even in some cases more successful like black households, than I've heard, just from my own personal experience, than I've heard it from the broken ones where that might be, you know, from the hood or some shit. Like, you can hear that that with the black community, it's gonna be, you take the same rhetoric and shit that you hear from white communities, it's gonna look a lot different. The graph is gonna look a lot different when you spread that shit around the black community.
Because
it's gonna look a lot different.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because
Which
again,
graph?
because
Sorry.
well, when you take shit like what we were just talking about, like the rhetoric of like white supremacy and like white supremacists, what's it called?
The rhetoric was one to one.
The extremist rhetoric.
The rhetoric was one to one.
What do you like? You have a graph that like that? You have a graph that's like disproving me? Like,
what do you mean a graph? I'm saying that the words that were used in the debate with Shark and
but we're talking about, okay.
That's why I was asking what graph.
Let's go back. Well, I'm just saying I was being hypothetical. I was being hypothetical. I'm fairly certain that when you take rhetoric, because in many cases, a lot of black people, I will admit this, a lot of black people do tend to be fiscally liberal, but socially conservative.
True.
In many ways, and in many cases it can be, you know, the same sort of reactionary tendencies, because it's just America. It's built upon fucking racism. Okay, that's just in racism. It's gonna look a lot different from. It's gonna look different from white people, black people, Hispanic people, etc. It's going to look the same rhetoric. When you take that rhetoric and you put it like the same like word for word rhetoric of like, I want to have kids of this race. When you take that and you plug that into the black community, the graph of like whether or not that comes from a broken home versus an integrated or non-broken home, whatever, it's gonna look a lot different.
So neither you nor I have any kind of fucking like way to prove or disprove what you just said.
I mean, I'm just saying, just from
because I've known a lot of black people from both broken homes and from fucking really nice homes. Okay, and I've never heard it from either of them. Okay, the only time I've ever fucking seen this shit.
Okay.
Is in fucking real life.
You know why?
Or in online.
You know why?
Not in real life.
Do you know why? Because in many cases, because that's a thing that like it's kind of similar to how like there's probably some white supremacist takes that you have probably heard as a white person, excuse me, that I will probably never hear.
No, I never heard any of the white supremacist shit until I got into the internet.
Okay, well, whatever. It's the internet. But like,
That's exactly what my fucking point is. When you
Well,
try and
no.
sit, no, because when you try and sit here and say that this is like a normal thing in the black community, look, you can look at a graph of what kinds of black people will say this and shit like that. Like, I don't think that's.
Are you a part of the black community though?
I am probably more part of the black community than your average white person. Okay, I don't know. I don't know
You
for
got a
sure.
lot of black friends, don't you? You got a lot of black friends, don't you?
I live in Houston, Texas. It's inevitable.
You live in Houston, Texas. Oh, Texas. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, like, it's not fucking, I don't know, fucking Chicago or anything like that. It's not like I lived in the fucking like ghetto, all right? But like it was a pretty even split among all the races except for Asians. There weren't as many Asians. But
Okay.
like I don't know.
They're not gonna. The point I was trying to make was that they're not gonna say that to your face. They're not gonna say like, oh yeah, I wanna like. Oh, some of them might, but like a lot of them, no, they're not gonna say that to you as like a white person. In many cases, because they're like, oh, if I say this as a white person, I could end up dead. I could end up with a t-shirt tomorrow. Like, yeah.
No, do you? No, none of my friends thought that I was gonna fucking kill them. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, I mean, there could be other white people around. Like, I mean, they probably don't think that you're gonna kill them. I don't think that they do think that you're gonna kill them. But like,
1 second.
anyways,
Someone might have found the timestamp.
the point.
Wait,
of,
give me like 2 seconds.
could
Just to listen.
just, like,
I mean, you going?
have them
Oh,
remake-
you got the.
Yeah,
okay,
just let me just make sure this is the right one.
Married to
I mean,
somebody
like I
who's
said, I'm
lighter
not here to defend Endless, but like,
Okay,
Go
give
ahead.
me like 2 seconds.
than you and have children.
But my kids would be light skinned. They would still be black, and that's kind of the point, right? Is that
cares?
as a black person, I care a lot because if I have
That's
kids
weird.
with someone who might have family members who hate them, that's going to affect their development. deeply.
You should work
I
on the
s-
relationship.
No, this isn't the right one. Sorry. It's the one, it might have been near the beginning, maybe. I don't fucking know. Wrong timestamp. Go ahead. Oh, hello?
me.
Yeah, yes. Sorry. I was
Oh,
just telling
okay,
them
okay,
that the,
anyways,
that the timestamp was incorrect.
Anyways, what was I? Oh yeah, black experience and all that stuff, right? So like, you know, they're probably, like I said, they're probably not gonna say it. They're probably not gonna say it to you, what have you. And also, maybe they don't want to like hurt your feelings or shit. I don't fucking know. But
Trust me, they were not like I don't care about like talking
like-
about like my black friends because it's the white guys
No,
say that I have black friends, but like they're not
that's
fucking sitting there like pretending like they're trying to
Okay,
like be
fine,
nice to me
whatever.
for my feelings. Okay.
Okay, fine. So, sorry, I was when we paused. I'm like, where am I?
Yeah,
even?
yeah.
Where
We
are we
were.
at?
I don't know.
So oh yeah, what Shark was saying about how that's like white supremacy 101. He was basically adhering to like harmful and toxic like stereotypes about black people that
Okay,
are
I can
oftentimes
admit-
echoed by white supremacists.
Okay, I can admit that yes, there are white supremacists who use that language, but there are also white supremacists that say like dumb fuck or like the R word, the R slur that some people
Okay,
don't like.
but
to say.
like no,
But,
no, we're not doing this.
Because
These
I have
things-
seen
no,
the,
this is
the
this
group
is,
of people that I've seen
this is a-
fatherless behavior, like that statement. I've seen it more from black people. I didn't even know that it was like a
Okay.
white supremacist thing until you said that in this conversation.
the father's behavior. No, that is a. It's not word for word like the.
I've
the
seen
white
it from
supremacist take I'm thinking of,
black
but there is
people
a
saying it to
stereotype.
women.
Yeah, I know. But I've seen a lot from white people as well. I've seen it from.
Okay,
just-
so would you
but,
say
like,
it's white
the
supremacist
thing-
language then?
Hold on. The thing about fatherless behavior, right? The thing about fatherless behavior.
I understand what
is
the
that
implication is.
That contributes to the narrative that black people do not have fathers like in the home typically.
Even Bink Princess and
Even though
MF
it's, like,
Endless
wrong.
weren't willing to like argue on that point. They literally said like statistically that's true.
Actually, statistically, that's not exactly as true. As a matter of fact, it's been proven that black people, if anything, are more likely to act. Black men are actually more likely to be involved in their children's lives. and
Hey, that's
be,
good. Maybe that's changed over the past couple of
then,
years. Okay, but like
but the stereotype is the stereotype is there, and it's harmful.
it's a harmful
almost as if-
stereotype. Yes,
it's
I don't
almost
disagree.
it's almost as if black people can also contribute to harmful stereotypes against themselves. I see it all the time, especially on TikTok. God, it's all day. It's just on a roulette. It seems in many cases. But yeah, sorry, I was reading something. But
Okay,
yeah,
but
in many cases,
I mean, like
It's a
on this
roulette.
point, like this is just gonna have to be like an agree to disagree thing. Like I agree, like yeah, sure, like that could be like taken into a like a broader like systemic thing there, but like I don't think that it hits the same. If it was like a white dude that said it like that, then maybe you could make the case to me that it's a little bit more harmful. But like it's a black dude, and like we generally don't like say the same thing unless they disagree with like MF endless or in Bing Prince, in which case like they just get called slurs. So like I don't know if I'm willing to like bite the bullet on that one. Like yeah, sure, it could be pretty damaging in terms of like a stereotype, but like in the grand scheme of things, is this really like the fucking issue here, or is it the fact that he talked so much shit about the fact that oh yeah, well this is like fucking shitty fucking behavior, and we shouldn't accept fucking racial purity uh rhetoric from any race, because that's the way that I took it. I think that's the way that most people fucking took it.
Right, because like I said, that's the road that Shark went down. Shark unfortunately came to this discussion not understanding what really was I
From
think
your
at least.
point of view, he
I
came to the
think at least
discussion. No, hold on.
not coming.
This is what I'm starting to realize. He came at this discussion, or he made that tweet, not looking at it through your point of view, and that
No,
makes
it's not
you
just
no.
that.
Yes,
No, 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 no.
absolutely.
It's not
Because
even
most
that.
black people
It's
in this
that
country,
Shark.
I
It's
don't
that
think are
Shark.
fucking racial supremacists. Okay, and I think
Yeah,
most
I don't
black
think
people
they
in this
are
country
either.
would probably look at that tweet and be like, "Yeah, no, that's really shitty fucking shit." And I don't think that Shark said anything wrong there. I think
Okay,
that's what the way that most black people in this country
but
would look
that
at it.
wasn't. But I don't think that is where that's not the what the conversation was supposed to be about. The conversation and where
You
the
could just like
disconnect and
happily be
disagreement
married to somebody
between
who's lighter
Shark
than
and
you
Endless
and have
happened
children.
was Shark's
But my kids would be
response
light skinned. They would
to
still be
the
black,
the,
and
the
that's kind of the
rhetoric that
point,
Shark
right?
was
Is that
using in the initial tweet. But Shark came into this thinking that Endless was just flat out opposed to race mixing. And that's because Endless just disagreed with
Well, he kept
Shark's
on. He
response
kept
to the
on.
tweet.
Well, he kept on
And then
making the
Shark,
arguments.
and then Endless, unfortunately, went down that rabbit hole with him. Even though, from my end, that didn't even seem like where the disagreement was. The disagreement came.
Does it matter
and-
if
and
they, if they
maybe-
went
and
if they had the
Endless should
wait?
have
Hold on,
entertained it.
hold on,
Yeah,
really
again,
quick.
I'm not here to
Did-
defend Endless.
okay, really
I've said that
quick.
like several times.
Yeah, sure, but like that's the entire fucking context of the conversation we're having. Do you think that like
not
well yeah
really,
yeah
but
because
okay.
does it matter whether that's the
It was really
conversation they
just
were
to
supposed hold on,
understand.
does it matter if that was the conversation they were supposed to have versus the conversation that they did have? Because MF Endless came off like a fucking black supremacist in that conversation, right? I
Okay.
don't think it matters what the original conversation was supposed to be. He went down every fucking road, okay? He went down every single fucking road that Shark like took him down. He said
Right, and he
all
shouldn't
the
have done that.
yeah,
It should
it's
have just
kind of
stayed
it's
at-
the way
it
you're
should
defending
have
him
just
right now.
stayed at-
The way that you're defending him right now kind of sounds like the way that people were defending JonTron after his conversation with Destiny, where like
Okay.
he kept on like giving him like, do you really think this, right? And like trying to give him like an out to say like the opposite, like no, I obviously don't believe that, but then he actually said the racist thing anyway. That's what happened with MF Endless and Shark here,
Because
and you're defending
Shark,
MF Endless.
because Shark, I don't think. Well, I don't even want to say because like I don't.
Is it a
dislike
real
Shark
black
at all.
dude? What?
Like, I don't. What the fuck did where the fuck did that come from?
Because that's
Like,
kind of what you and fucking everybody else has been
No,
implying.
shut up. No, that's not what I'm saying. That is not
Okay.
what I've never once said, and I'm not going to sit here and tell another person with the same fucking skin tone as me that they're not a real black person.
Okay, well, I appreciate that
Stop.
because that's what other people were fucking doing,
No, no,
and so
no,
that's
you
why I
don't
thought
need
you were
to
about to say.
appreciate it. I need you to not just assume that that's where I was going.
Well, you've been defending everything else fucking MF Endless said this entire time, most of the
did
way.
not.
Okay,
I
most of the
did
way.
not.
Yeah.
I
You've
did
been
not.
making a lot of arguments in his favor this entire time, and a lot of arguments are out of
No,
away
no,
from Shark.
it's not.
So it's
as
not a
matter of fact,
hard,
I've
it's
been
not
saying,
a giant
I've been trying
leap
to
for
tell
me.
you. As a matter of fact, what I was going to try to tell you before you
Okay.
just put fucking words in my mouth was that I really don't have anything against Shark. I don't really dislike the guy at all. I still watch some of his content. I think he's entertaining. I agree with a lot of the stuff that
I
he
think he's a
says
great
typically
dude.
on a daily basis. I do not mind Shark. I just think that in this case, Shark might have gotten a little bit too up in his feelings and a little bit too, or maybe not even up in his feelings. I think honestly, what had happened here, look, and this is part of the reason why it's like
A
oh my God, it's part
miscommunication
of-
that led
it's-
MF Endless to say a bunch
if-
of like
if any-
race purist shit.
if anything, like this is part of what I'm talking about
What I'm saying, when me and other black people say liberals, especially white liberals, not even just white liberals, but just white people in general, especially white liberals and conservatives, need to stay the fuck out of black folks' business because
Okay, what if they're
y'all
saying
don't
what if they're saying like
Y'all don't
objectively fucking
understand.
racist shit?
Y'all don't understand.
White people are inferior.
Y'all. He did not say white people were.
No.
inferior.
I'm just asking like a hypothetical. You're saying that we should just stay out of black people's shit. Okay. What about like if they say something that is completely a fucking objectional, like white people's genetics are inferior, or I think that we should be making sure that there are enough black people in the world, like at any given time.
Obviously, that is wrong. But what was happening here?
No. I just want to hear like, can a white person say that that's bad? Can a white person say that's bad?
Yes, you could. Obviously, you could say that's bad. When someone starts talking about genocide, fucking obviously. But that's not just black folks' business.
Oh, I didn't say genocide.
Or racial superiority, right? Like when black people are saying shit like that, you're like obviously, yeah, duh. But like I'm talking about, this was when I say black folks' business, I said that because this was a conversation between two black people. And it was a conversation about black issues between two black people. And then when you wanted to shoehorn yourself into this conversation and not understand, and like literally, dog, you were like the only one.
You already said earlier. You already said earlier.
You said that really wanted to shoehorn yourself into this issue.
Well, Demon Mama did, and she fucking both sides did until Shark literally. Hold on, she both sides it so hard. Really quick, she both sides it so hard that like when fucking MF Endless and fucking Bing Princess were questioning Shark's blackness, she like wouldn't even say that was fucked up, and Shark left her chat and said like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not gonna sit here and have my blackness.
Demon Mama, because you know what Demon Mama did? Because she was unsure.
She stayed out of it.
Fuck up.
Oh, so even when we're sure, when people on the other side are questioning someone's blackness because they disagree, or when someone on the other side starts calling black people fucking racial slurs because they disagree, we can't call that out.
Listen, dog, I can't sit here and tell Demon Mama that like if she doesn't feel if she's not
I think that you should have a fucking backbone and fucking take a stance on things. And I think that when people are being racist towards other people,
should ever talk about having a fucking backbone.
Okay? I have a plenty of a backbone because I haven't fucking backed down to you or any of the fucking losers. Tell me where I'm spineless. Where I backed down and fucking cucked out to all of y'all's fucking loser fucking points of view. Where you're gonna sit here and continue to pretend like you're not defending fucking race purists.
Dog.
If I was spineless, I would still be a fucking socialist because I would be fucking sitting here pretending. If I was spineless, I would be
defending the status quo by being a liberal. Look, capitalism's so great. Oh look,
no, because the social fucking pressure to stay a socialist is incredibly fucking strong. Okay. I don't get a
social pressure to stay a
socialist.
Yeah,
because the fucking second I started coming out as like not a socialist anymore, retards like you and fucking MF Endless came after me like a motherfucker.
Please don't say that word. Please don't say that word. That word.
Sorry, I don't even know what I said.
Exactly.
What? Anyways, retard?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop saying it. Okay. But like that's the thing. Like the second, like I never had a problem with fucking anyone. The second I stopped identifying as a fucking socialist, like it was like game over. Literally every single fucking lefty turned on me. But I don't give a fuck. What I'm trying to say is, if I was spineless, I would have just fucking like not done that. I would have just like quietly never fucking said anything about it. I wanted to fucking like gone on to anybody's show and like
who gives
because you're saying that I'm spineless. I'm saying you're spineless. I'm saying that anyone that doesn't
spineless.
Because you're not willing to fucking admit that fucking MF Endless and you and Bing Princess have all defended like actual fucking racism.
Oh my god. I have said we have it's like
you keep on saying that you're not here to defend MF Endless. You're here to not you're not here to defend MF Endless. But you keep on.
It's almost going on an hour and 30 minutes. It's almost like the entire hour that we were just talking about shit, like just never fucking happened. It's like that. It's like that conversation never.
Because I keep on trying to like I keep on trying to like move past like thinking that you're going to like disagree with something that MF Endless said, but then you're like, hold on, but like this is what he was actually trying to say. When he was not trying to say that, he was trying to say something else. And then I tried to like say like, okay, well they were questioning Shark's blackness, and you're like, okay, well yeah, like I mean I wouldn't do that.
For that.
Okay,
I wasn't even there. For
right,
that.
but you said like, I can't say
on something that I wasn't even there.
But you said like, but yeah, you're not willing to speak on that. But like the idea that happened, you're not willing to say that's good or bad.
For them to question his blackness, I think that's wrong for them to question his blackness. But like, I'm not gonna sit here like if Demon Mama is just unsure, and if Demon Mama like does not like if she felt uncomfortable, what have you. With that shit,
maybe ask a clarifying question instead of just like laughing and saying, "Well, I don't know if I agree with that," and then like rolling your eyes until like Shark like leaves the chat because
maybe she's like, maybe she should have had Shark on. Maybe she should have had Endless on to like talk about it. Or maybe she was
She had Big
incredibly
Princess
fucking
on.
uncomfortable.
She had Big Princess on, who reiterated all the same fucking things.
Okay, maybe she was incredibly fucking uncomfortable. I'm not even trying to be here to necessarily defend Demon Mama, but I
Well,
guess
that's
you want me to do that
spineless
too.
fucking behavior
Like,
if you're not
I
willing to
don't- I
fucking
don't-
speak out against someone, like
Okay.
questioning someone's blackness.
But
because they
again,
disagree
what
with
Demon
you.
Mama, what Demon Mama was doing was understanding that, again, this is black folks' business, black folks' conversation, and maybe she just felt, and not even maybe, she felt uncomfortable.
She didn't want to
commenting
lose her
and
audience.
chiming in. I don't even think it was that she wanted to lose her audience. I think it was that she did not exactly, or maybe she was not prepared for the conversation and like what she was truly going to.
Then why did she have it?
Like, because I don't know, she was fucking curious. There have
If
been
you're not
many
prepared for a
times-
conversation, but then someone comes on and starts talking about like race realism, would you ever give them a fucking pass for that shit?
I mean, race realism, like, no, I wouldn't give them a pass for that. But like, I'm also like, you know, a black person who is
Okay, so
flat out
what if someone,
experiencing
what if
racist
someone,
shit.
okay, what if someone like wasn't prepared to have a conversation with a fucking hotep, but then the hotep came on and just like started preaching all their shit? Would you be mad at
the
them?
hotep is bad, but like, what you again, I'm talking about a conversation I don't even know about, and you just
No,
said
I'm
that,
just
like,
asking hypotheticals.
Obviously, no, but like,
Okay,
the
then why
thing
would you
is
be
that-
okay with this?
Well, I'm not exactly okay with it, but I've also told you that I don't know where that, like, I was not there for that conversation. I did not tune into Demon Mama's stream. I was not there for that. But if she was just uncomfortable and she found herself in a sticky situation, maybe a bit stunned, I don't fucking know. Like,
I would just say, like, just like you would, if you have someone on that is going to say some shit that's like really fucked up and you're not prepared for that conversation, that's on you.
I
And
mean,
we both
yeah,
agree with that.
I guess I could kind of agree with that. But like at the same time, maybe she didn't know what the fuck was gonna come out of Big Princess's mouth when she came on.
She heard
I don't-
all
again,
of the shit
I
that
don't
she said
know.
right before
I was
them
not
in the
there. I was not there, and I can't. And I'm sorry,
You're
Sondsol,
just like so
but
ultimately
I can't-
charitable.
I'm sorry, Sondsol, but I can't take your word from it either, because again, I
Then
can't take
watch
your word
it.
I can't take. I don't feel like it. I'm talking to you right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm not. I don't want to take your word for it, especially because you have been uncharitable to me multiple times. Not
And
even
you've been
just tonight,
uncharitable to me.
but on Twitter multiple times. When have I been uncharitable to you?
I think that there was the time where you backed out of a conversation because I was a dangerous individual or some shit.
Well, I backed out of the conversation of
I don't
what
even
we
remember what
wanted
it
to talk
was
about
about.
because and the only reason why I'm here is because I was angry enough at you calling me a fucking ethno-nationalist for literally no fucking
Well,
reason.
yeah, if you agree
But
with
also-
fucking MF Endless, I would say that you're
But that
closer
wasn't
to
what
ethno-nationalist
that wasn't
than
what I was saying. I was saying that I could see both ends, just like with white supremacy.
Both sides
I
of
can see-
ethno-nationalism is still
Oh my
like
God.
in support of a
Shut
little bit
up
of
for 2 seconds.
ethno-nationalism.
Shut up. No, I can just understand. No, there's a different. Because of the fact that I can understand something. I can understand where they're coming from. I can then give my verdict on it and say that's stupid or that's bad. I can sit here and say, yeah,
And
I
yet
can
you're
see
here
both
having
sides
the
of it.
conversation, not knowing
My
the
God,
full context of
dog,
everything, and
dog,
you're gonna and you
dog,
just said that if you don't
because-
know enough about the conversation,
because-
if you're not prepared for the conversation, then you shouldn't have
Because
it. Why
I
are you
at
here?
least know the conversation. I at least know the tweet in context, and I know the conversation between Endless and fucking Shark. Okay, I at least know that.
Okay.
So, and that's why I came here to talk about. I did not listen to Demon Mama and that shit. She wasn't even like, you brought Demon Mama in, dog. You brought my chat up from like months ago about a completely different topic.
Okay,
Like, good lord, like we've been all over the place. With
and
this,
then you
with
and then you
this
sat there
discussion.
and you like tried to
So-
like defend it in some way, shape, or form.
No, I said that I can at the very least understand where it came from. And I can still at the very least, because I have the fucking mental maturity and I have the I guess mental fortitude or the mental ability, mental processing ability to at least understand. Like, aren't you from that side that's all about know the other side, empathize with the other side,
Yeah, and then
learn what they're coming from, learn where they're coming from?
and then I spat back to you when you said I didn't understand. I spat back to you the entire fucking steel man of your side, right?
A steel man of like what?
Of the argument that we were having.
Shit?
No. At the beginning of this, the black point of view on the like why they might want to like maintain some kind of racial purity. Did I not like? Did you not like say that? Yes, I did understand the point of view.
Yeah, I understand the point of view.
No. Okay.
What?
Never mind. Any final memes? I'm sorry,
Alright,
it's super late here, and I have to eat dinner with
yeah,
my girlfriend.
it is pretty late.
Yeah.
The bottom line with what was going on was that mainly this was about, again, the rhetoric that Shark was using and how that was in many cases, not in just in many cases, just blatantly white supremacist in nature. Again, I am not necessarily here to defend Endless Cemetery and the shit that he was saying necessarily. But I, at the very least, I'm trying to get you to understand, like, where that comes from and the pain that's coming from. Yes, being opposed to race mixing is bad. Yes, I have never once fought against that, and I never will fight against it.
Then we agree.
But I can still empathize and understand where people of color,
I can
especially
understand where they
Black and
come
Indigenous
from
people,
without
are
being
coming from with that.
I can understand it, and this is maybe the difference between me and you. I can understand it and empathize with it, but I'll still speak out vehemently against it, even when it's not
Oh,
my place as a white man to talk about a black man being a black supremacist, right? Like maybe you think that that's not what my place is in the conversation, but like I don't like any kind of racial supremacist. I think that racial supremacy is like a dog shit thing. Just like I think that all fascism is dog shit. Just like I think that like when someone walks up and calls someone a racial slur, it's always fucking bad. Okay, I think it's always fucking bad. I don't think there's any like I don't think that there's it is conditional on your race whether you're allowed to speak on a certain topic. I don't think it is conditional what your gender is to talk about gendered issues, right? I like these things, they don't come into the calculus for me. Now they
Well, I
might like
mean, I'm not
inform
going to talk
something.
about
They might
the
inform
trans
something.
experience. I'm not a trans person.
Well,
I'm not going
okay,
to talk
so
about.
saying like the trans experience is different than like saying like someone who is a trans person saying that they literally want to like forcibly trans all people, right? Like I don't
But
think that like I have to be trans.
no one in that conversation the other day said
No,
that
no,
they
no. I
want to
know.
like that they want a black ethno state, that they want to. It was literally just interpersonal shit about like literally. It was about, well, but I thought it should have been about was Shark's rhetoric, and then also the fact that like literally a black person is like, hey, because of what my race has been through, at the behest or at the not the behest, at the hands of white people in a society, I could understand why a black person, and I said it before, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I could understand
I
why a
wouldn't
black
say
person.
this is the okay.
that
This
why-
is, can I ask you one thing? Do you understand that when you say like I don't necessarily or necessarily agree with it? Do you understand like how that leaves the door open for like you kind of agreeing with it?
Okay, let me change that thing.
That's
I
why
don't
like I
agree
keep, we
with
keep
it.
on going back. Yeah,
I don't
okay.
agree with it, but I can empathize with it, and I can understand, and through my understanding of that, I can also see like
The others
where that comes from, and I can understand, I can empathize, and I can at least, yeah, I can understand, I can empathize where that person is coming from in their rhetoric with everything. Like same thing with like incels and shit. I can understand.
yeah,
and to
it's
a
the
degree,
same. No, I mean
I can
we 1
empathize,
million percent
but
agree on
it's
this.
bullshit.
Okay, we 1
But
million
it's
percent
100%
See,
bullshit.
this is the thing. We agree on this, but this is why. This is why I don't understand the rest of it. Okay, and maybe like we could just have like a general conversation about like why I don't like this is my perception of the conversation because me and you agree on that 100%. I can empathize and I can understand these things, right? Which is why like I feel like I can talk to an incel or I can talk to a white nationalist or I can talk to a black nationalist who's willing to have like an actual good faith conversation and I can like empathize with them and try and like move them over from that point of view because I actually understand where they're coming from, right? Like when it comes to like trans issues, like there's a whole other like thing there with me and like experiences and shit, but like I can understand where people are coming from and I can empathize with them and I can have these conversations, right? But like I can't be so empathetic to say like, okay, but like so like we should be like understanding of why when they say these things, why we can't like speak out against it or why it might not be some person's place to speak out against it or something like that. That's where you lose me completely. Okay. Because
Well, I mean, like, where, like, I mean, do you have those clips yet of like them questioning Shark's like blackness?
People
like,
got one number for me. I'll see if I can find it for you like later
sure,
tonight.
go
Yeah,
ahead,
like
I mean,
just,
I don't really care all that much, but like, go ahead and find it. Like, if it'll.
yeah, the
I don't
person
know,
that
if
finds
it'll
my
make you better,
timestamps just
so.
said that they're not at their computer; they're on their phone. So,
That's fine. It's cool.
anyways, hey, listen, we got heated.
I don't.
Okay, I can
I
have
don't-
a conversation with you. All right, as long as like we could like go back and forth, and I'm fine with having a conversation in the future. I don't think you're a shit fucking human being. All right, I do think that about being princess and MF Endless. All right, but you don't seem to be like quite like nearly as fucking shitty as them. You seem like an okay fucking person. I can have a conversation with you. All right, maybe we can relitigate like the second half of that I just like kind of laid out at a later time. But yeah, any final memes?
You know what? I think I've said my piece and where I'm coming from.
Okay, buddy.
It's just gonna. Like I said, I think it's largely, or not even. I think I know it's largely the black experience and shit like that, or what have you. That you just you don't understand like how
You already said that.
you
I
know.
understood it. Okay,
Hmm?
I love you very
No,
much.
no,
Okay.
no. I don't think I said. Or if I did, sorry. I didn't mean to say
I
that you
gave
understand it.
the
Um,
point of view back at you like verbatim. Okay, I can't like we can't keep going around in circles,
but
right?
again, I just don't think that you truly. There's one thing to like know the point. It's another thing for it to truly like for you to truly have a grasping of the point. And I don't think you have a full grasping
Okay,
as to
final
the
point. Final
difference
point. Final point. Do you think that
between.
the black experience justifies them saying any of those things or believing any of those things?
I think it does like to a degree justify it. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right, but I can at the very least, again, the point that I'm making here is truly understanding where that shit comes from is mainly what that is. And I like I said before, well, you know what? Never mind. It's just understanding where it comes from and understanding that it is not exactly as black and white, haha, it's not exactly as black and white as, when a white person stands up and says, white supremacist shit and what have you, like, oh yeah, we want our race to stay pure so that we can uphold like white supremacy and shit. There's a difference between literally and this is what I've been trying to say all night, the difference between having children that are white because you want to preserve white supremacy versus, you know what, I am like, struggling with, you know, white supremacy and the ways in which white supremacy has negatively impacted the black community and through, the systemic attempted extermination, and saying, you know what, I would like it if my kids were all, well, not even just my kids, but I would like it if
My
I
bloodline
would like it,
was of dark-skinned people into perpetuity
right.
because
But
there is value
the
in
problem,
dark
let me go,
skin.
let me
Okay,
go.
no,
Let
I
me go
gotta
ahead.
go.
Let me
I
go
gotta
ahead.
go. I've been
Let
saying
me
for
go
like
ahead
the
and say
past 10
one
minutes.
last thing.
I desperately
Let me go
need
and
to
say
go.
one last thing. One last thing, and that is that my problem comes into play when you try to tell your kids and when you try to force your kids to go ahead and say, or go ahead and, oh, you have to marry a black person, or oh, you have to marry a white person. But I don't think, as a black person or as a person of color living in America, going through racial supremacy and shit like that in America, I don't think it's that bad of like a wishful thought of like, I would like it if there was black people in
You
the future.
literally
I would
talked
like
about
it if my
earlier that this was like something that was talked about not in just like super ghetto homes, but in well-off homes. And if we made a graph, okay, I can't fucking do this anymore. All right, listen, I love
I
you,
mean,
buddy.
I'm
I
just
can
trying to
talk to you later.
I'm trying
All
to
right,
get you to
it
see
is 9:37. It is an hour later for you.
10:37.
Yes, it is an hour later for
Yeah.
you. We have to go. We have to go. We can't keep on
Sure we
going
do.
around in
Yeah.
circles. Okay.
All right. All right. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, I guess.
All right.
Have
I'll
a good
talk
one.
to you later, buddy. All right. Bye. Holy fuck. Okay, we're rating Rhizome. Jesus fucking Christ, guys.